When you meet these Mormons, they don't know real Mormonism. Only I know real Mormonism. I had a high up member of the church that like showed me the secret parts of the secret city.
Did he just confuse the Naphtali tribe with the Nephites?
Instead of Nephites.
Dude.
Never in my life have I heard someone say that Mormon was the uncle of Moroni. We have staff members very well rounded in classical Mormonism, its changes over the years, and its general doctrinal formation and stances.
No. Dude.
To be frank, we are not particularly concerned about what Mormons think of our credibility.
This is arguably the most inaccurate and honestly embarrassing thing we've ever reacted to on this channel.
All those in favor, my name's Baylor, this is Cade. We are members of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, otherwise known as Mormons. We're also Christians because we have faith in Christ. A lot of people don't like that. Anyways, we decided to take a look at this Christian university, it's called. I don't know if that's really... Anyways, it's called TheosU. So they kind of give courses on the Bible, and basically if you want to, deepen your understanding of the Bible and Christianity, have kind of this paid thing that you can register for. Have you heard of this?
No. And we signed up?
Yeah, we signed up. I signed up. I'm on the free trial.
I can't wait to deepen my faith.
So yeah, it's free trial for a week, and then it's $160 a year. So that's the cheapest option.
I might not.
So it's pretty expensive. This is it. Trying to think of what to show you here that would be like a good homepage.
Theos Seminary.
Yeah, non-woke Bible teaching.
Okay.
And I've heard about these guys for a while because Elijah Lamb, I think, does some work with these guys. He's on their social media and stuff, and I'm a fan of his. I think we both are. He seems like a great guy. So the reason why, the thing that kind of compelled me to actually do this, though, is I was on Instagram, as I sometimes am, and I saw this post from TheosU. So this is what it said. So the caption here: Christianity greater than every other religion. We agree. So Hinduism offers salvation by working off karma. Buddhism offers salvation by working to kill every craving and desire.
Okay, hold on. There's no real concept of salvation in Buddhism. There's a concept of enlightenment and achieving some kind of heightened state of peace, but there's no such thing in salvation. I'm pretty sure Hinduism as well, you reach Dharma, I believe it's called, which is also like a state of happiness and well-being once you officially come to your realized potential and faith.
Yeah. And, it's a good disclaimer. We're not, based on what you're going to see here shortly, I don't have a lot of hope in the credibility of these other definitions here, but
I think they're 0 for 2 so far.
It goes through Hinduism, Buddhism, Islam. Offers salvation by working to obey and submit, stacking good deeds, hoping Allah's mercy tips the scale in your favor.
Yeah, this is rough. I don't think they do believe in Allah's mercy if they submit to him.
Yeah.
But I don't think they would resonate with the description of Allah, like hoping that Allah maybe tips the scales in their favor. But submission is really important to Islam, so that's something.
Sikhism. How do you say it?
Yes.
Sikhism. Anyways, then you get here. Mormonism offers salvation by working through covenants, temple rituals, and lifelong obedience to not just reach heaven, but to become like God.
Fire.
So I saw this and I was like, obviously that's not what we believe. It's pretty typical for evangelicals to like straw man us by being like, oh yeah, Mormonism believes it's a combination of your works and grace, right? Mm-hmm. You see that a lot. And
this didn't mention Christ.
Yeah. So this was especially egregious. I mean, we see a lot of misrepresentations of our faith, but I thought this was especially for two reasons. One, obviously it doesn't mention Christ, so this is even more extreme of a straw man. And also the fact that this is like Theos University. This is supposed to be like
God's university.
it's supposed to be like an intellectual hub of like where I'm getting better stuff than maybe, I don't know, YouTube or like, I'm paying. It's like masterclass, I think is the idea. It's like a masterclass on biblical studies. So I DM these guys and
Oh man.
I'm kind of like, hey dude.
Also, just a disclaimer. When you guys DM us on Instagram, it's roulette, dude. You could get Baylor, you could get me, you could get a little bit of both.
Probably get both.
But this is not me.
This is me. Yeah, Cade doesn't know. Cade was in class for this. I was supposed to be doing my other things that I'm responsible for, but I was doing it instead. So I was like, hey, dude, I just saw your post. I was like, you could say Mormons believe in synergism like Orthodoxy or Catholicism, but saying that Mormons believe in salvation with no mention of Christ is pretty insane. And they say, thanks for reaching out. We have staff members very well-rounded in classical Mormonism, its changes over the years, and its general doctrinal formation and stances.
Classical Mormonism,
Yeah, it's a phrase I've never heard in my life.
Yeah, it doesn't exist. That's not a thing.
I think they're trying to say like...
It used to be weird, and now we're rebranding to be Christian, is
like,
what they're hinting at.
Like, oh yeah, you guys, I don't know if you guys heard about the rebrand, but you guys have been rebranding around there. It'd be one thing if I would have way more... I'd give these arguments way more credence if they were saying like, oh, well, Joseph Smith taught something else different from what you guys believe.
Yeah.
But it's never that. It's always like, I mean, sometimes it is, but if it is.
So it's like someone out there taught something different,
Yeah.
but now you guys are someone else, I don't know who either, is also teaching something different.
It's like, you guys are believing the same things that Joseph Smith, your founder, taught. But somewhere along the way, someone said something different, and you guys should have stuck with that. It's like, I don't know. I just thought it was funny. So I was like, I don't know. We got to go back and forth for a second. And I say, listen, it seems pretty clear that your staff, whoever these guys are, that they're going off of anti-Mormon literature rather than like actual LDS publications like our scriptures or our living leaders. And they say, you assume we haven't read both types of literature and have concluded one to be more rational than the other.
I missed where you did that, but
That's what
usually you go to Mormon literature when you're wanting to learn about Mormonism, but it's fine. It's whatever. It's not even about being rational. It's about being like, I don't know.
That's what they say. Many of our staff are aware and well read on the Mormon rationale and find it to be irrational.
Wait a second.
Like, I don't think that's what that means. But I was just like, okay, I'm sure you guys would tell an atheist that they should prioritize anti-Protestant literature over the Bible when trying to understand Protestant belief, because they find that literature more rational. Anyways, I'm kind of going back and forth here.
Also, Protestants, I'm very well versed in classical Protestantism. And Martin Luther actually thought that baptism was essential for salvation. And he said it wasn't a work, and that he was actually, it was actually grace. He wasn't working or doing anything. Baptism was offered to him as a gift by God, whereby he could accept salvation. And I know Protestants are doing a kind of like a rebrand now, and they're kind of going away from the whole baptism for salvation thing. But I'm very well versed in classical Protestantism.
And also I Googled why Protestant bad, and it said you're wrong. So it actually doesn't matter what you've read or anything. I actually Googled just why Protestant wrong.
I just put right here into ChatGPT, can you give me 4 or 5 reasons the Mormon church is false and unbiblical?
Yeah.
And please make it align with all of my previous views.
And then it
gave it to me.
Yeah, it was awesome. And then the cool thing too is they said they'll pay us $150 a year to show you that.
Okay, we should do a disclaimer. We're all for Christian education. Like, I love that this thing exists and that Christians can go learn about their faith and the Bible, and that this is a good project from what I understand. This sounds awesome.
Idea.
We're super down with it. From what I understand, though, we're not super down with what they're posting, but we can continue on.
Yeah, no, it's true. That's why, and we do like to joke around. It's good that you're going to disclaimer out there, because especially if this is anyone's first time watching us, we like to joke around. We like to poke fun. At the end of the day, yeah, we hope this thing is good and improves on maybe some of the criticisms that we're going to offer, but that doesn't mean that we're saying like this thing's inherently bad. And, that's another reason why I think it's important to show that, like, I'm never just like, hey, off the rip, let's go. We found something, someone got us wrong. Let's go make a video about them. No, that's not. We're going to reach out to these guys first and say, hey, I'm actually one of the people you're talking about, and it seems like have a misunderstanding. Let me help. And so that was the spirit in which we're reaching out to these people, right? And then they recommended me, if you want, they said, we have a brief course dealing with Mormonisms. If you want, you can find it on TheosU. And so then I was kind of just like, listen, we kind of go back and forth about some of these arguments. And I just say, listen, I'm happy to help you guys out. What did I say? Let me find this. I said, I'm happy to explain more, or you can just write this off, but just know that you lose credibility with anyone who's even a shallow understanding of Mormonism. Which I think, I don't think that's...
Yeah, with anyone who's read the Book of Mormon and understands that it uses...
And they responded to some of the things I said, and they said, also, to be frank, we are not particularly concerned about what Mormons think of our credibility.
No shot.
So I said, so to me, this is license for us to make this video, because...
no shot, bro.
Most of our followers are likely members of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. Theos University has made it clear they are not concerned what we think of their credibility. So I don't think they'll have a problem with us making this video.
In what world is that okay in any way?
Yeah.
Like I just said, these guys are doing a good thing, and I don't want to harp on them too much, but
And obviously this is just their social media guy, right? Hopefully this isn't representative of everyone involved with this. And then this is a funny thing that he says here, though. He says, that's like a Muslim coming down and saying, you don't read the Quran. You can't speak on behalf of Islam.
Yeah, you can't speak on behalf of Islam if you haven't read the Quran. That's like really...
It's like really straightforward.
Yeah, exactly.
Logic.
Thank you.
Yeah, like you can't sell a course on Islam.
Yeah, that's
if you don't
bonkers.
read the Quran.
I'm astonished right now, bro. That's insane. To be frank, we don't particularly care about what Mormons think of our credibility. If you're gonna make, if we are gonna make a course on world religions, I would be extremely concerned with my credibility with the faiths I'm talking about. Like
every other.
In what way is that okay to just say we don't care at all what the group we're talking about thinks about what we're saying about them? That's just this is a heavy charge. So keep in mind, I'm not just using this lightly. That's like an uncharitable, unchristian thing to do. That's lacking understanding. That's lacking a concern for our well-being and our souls.
And our salvation, right?
And our salvation.
It's like if you think that we're going to hell, which I presume this person does, and that's in their course, they say that probably most of us are not saved. You would think that hey, I'm you're talking to me. We're talking over DM. I'm the guy that you think's going to burn forever. And you're not like, hey man, let me show you something that I think would help you join this other denomination. No, it's just, we don't care what you guys think. It's like, ooh, it's tough. So anyways, did what any person would do in that situation. I went and got the free trial to see the course that he recommended to me. Cause I was like, well, maybe it's just this guy and whoever made that social media post, maybe the course is better in some way. So let me get this up for you.
And keep in mind, they're extremely well written. You can take good courses on the church at a lot of universities that aren't taught by members of the church. There is a philosophy of Mormonism class at UVU, my old school, that was taught by someone who is no longer faithful in the church. There's a sociology of Mormonism class that you can take that I believe is not taught by a member. This is the same with there are tons of other schools you can take these classes at.
I think it was the University of Vermont.
You can take a Book of Mormon class,
a high-level Book of Mormon class, not taught by a member of the church.
So we don't care that it's not we don't care that it's one of us that does this kind of thing. We just would expect that you would read the Book of Mormon or something. Yeah,
that's a low bar.
Could we I wish we could have asked him if we did a course on Christianity and hadn't read the Bible, hadn't even touched it, and we just went and spouted what we thought Christians believed, and then the Christians said, hey, that's actually not very accurate. And then we said, well, we don't really care what you think. Like, I wonder what they would say to that.
Well, it would have been like, what? That's like a Muslim asking me to read the Quran before speaking on behalf of Islam.
Yeah. And this is a symptom. We can get into this. I don't want to yap too long, but this is a symptom of a broader problem that we talk about all the time, which is an extremely overconfident approach to the church. Like, it's the only thing that you are seemingly allowed to just like spout misinformation about anymore. And no one cares. And it's really saddening.
Yeah. And, there's a lot of things where it seems like scholarly rigor has really just kind of gone out the window in these spheres of the internet and social media and all these, obviously in academia, I think it still is very rigorous, right? But there's a lot of information that's being made very accessible that it's not well researched, right?
Especially now with AI,
Yes.
people are able to just outsource their thinking and their research to a tool that is, this is so typical philosopher of me, but a tool that doesn't really work well for analytical thinking and research.
Yeah.
So just be careful.
So anyway, so this is the course. So you get in here to TheosU. Here's the Mormonism course. It's got 6 videos. It's probably about an hour, maybe a little over an hour altogether. And so I just wanted to, now that I'm graduated in this course, now that I got my degree in Mormonism, just wanted to show you a couple of these, maybe, I don't know. I'll just show you. So this is the first video, Mormonism Introduction, over on TheosU. And this was recommended to me by their social media manager to learn more about what I believe. So, let's get this going. Let's see if this is going to work.
Nice set, by the way.
No, I will say, I want to give this guy his flowers. He does seem like a cool guy. And he makes some funny jokes.
Great looking set.
Let's see here. So, I turn it up loud so it gets in the microphone.
You got mine. Now, right off the bat, I will say this before we dive in. Are Mormons Christians? Short answer is no, in my opinion. The less they know about their faith, the better. I do believe some Mormons can be Christians, but they're very few.
So this is like such a common argument nowadays where it's like it's like the ultimate, I don't know if there's a word for this fallacy, but it's like the ultimate checkmate. It's like, well, guess what? What if I know more about what you believe than you do? It's like, how do you come back from that? It's like, no, I know more. Mormons, when you meet these Mormons, they don't know real Mormonism. Only I know real Mormonism. The people practicing the religion, they don't know the real Mormonism.
Check it out in this course.
Yeah. But
some Mormons can be Christians, but they're very few and far between for reasons we'll get into with their doctrinal stances and belief system. Mormonism as a Christian cult has 2 options.
Okay, don't make me crash out about cults again. He just showed he's never read any of the empirical literature or any of the sociological literature on new religious movements and cults that he just flag it. That just happened.
Well, it's one thing.
Every time I hear the word cult, I'm going to call it out.
It's one thing if you're in a casual setting where the word cult is prevalent on Instagram or TikTok, but if you're claiming to be like a scholarly institution, an intellectual institution, you'd think you'd be a little more aware of
Either it's a fraudulent faith or it's a demonic faith.
Ooh.
Either way, if it's fraudulent or demonic, it's heretical. Let's just define Christian cult too before we jump in.
Oh, I love
A
this.
Christian cult is a group that claims to be Christian, but promulgate doctrines and beliefs that contradict the Bible or essential Christian articles of faith.
Hey, wait, hold on though.
So that's the kind of term.
We might be a cult, but we're a Christian cult, baby. We're Christian now. That's an upgrade.
It's an upgrade, so step in the right direction.
We're going to utilize these Christian cults of Mormonism and Jehovah's
Also, he won't find a single scholar that's going to agree with that definition or think that it's a useful, healthy framework. There's not going to be one single sociologist or person in any religious studies department that's going to think that's a useful definition. He just made that up. Like, that's just a definition that he said, all right, this is what I'm talking about.
Well, and it's really, we'll let him finish the definition, then you'll see how non-useful it is.
separate video. Now, take a look at this picture. Christian cults, to get a pictorial representation I'm talking about here, is this. They reject, redefine, which leaves them with a counterfeit faith. Which is
Why the arrows? Why like you could have just said it?
So I'm not sure if this guy's Protestant or not, but I know there's Protestants involved with this group. I'm just like, how does this not apply to every Protestant faith? They reject, then they redefine. Like that's
They reject baptism, then they redefine what it means to be baptized. Or they redefine Jesus' words where he says, repent ye and be baptized. You must be born again, but of the water and the Spirit.
Yeah, they reject faith and they redefine sola fide, or they reject whatever it is that like the church before the Reformation. It's like they reject Mariology and they redefine what it means to be blessed. You know what I mean? It's I don't know.
That's just like, and we're not saying that's a bad thing. That's just, it's part of the game. That's renegotiation. That's how we come to our views.
If your objective is to call Mormons not Christian, you have to come up with a definition of a cult that excludes us, but includes the people that you want to keep in the group. And this is nothing. This isn't even this is just 4 or 5 words.
Yeah.
That's true of all Christian cults. And there's quite a few, but only a few major Christian cults. But that is the formula they adopt.
And he keeps saying, he's like, we're going to be talking about the Jehovah's Witnesses a lot. It's like trying to marry us with the Jehovah's Witnesses.
See what happens.
It's hilarious. And then I'm just going to skip ahead a little bit here. So he's going to give us a little bit of his credentials. What gives him kind of the...
I'm going to use those terms interchangeably, just so you know. Now, personally speaking, I know a lot of Mormons. I have some good Mormon friends. I have a lot of experience with Mormons. I had them as colleagues and I worked with them as parents. A lot of my students at my schools I taught at were Mormons. I became a Mormon for a short season, actually.
Oh yeah? Name every Mormon.
So this is really, I don't want this to get lost. He says this really fast. I'm very intrigued by this.
Yeah, this is interesting.
I became a Mormon for a short season.
Students at my schools I taught at were Mormons. I became a Mormon for a short season, actually. It was incredible. Don't knock it till you try it. You know what I mean? Especially I took advantage of the polygamy doctrine. I was like, hey, if I'm Mormon, I might as well take full advantage, right? Kidding on that. But when I worked with some Mormons and rubbed shoulders with them.
Okay, wait, which part was he kidding about? Was he kidding about the polygamy part?
I don't know. Is that whole thing just a joke? Because that's kind of a weird thing. I get the polygamy joke, whatever. He makes a few actually kind of funny jokes. But like, it's a really long bit to be like, I became a Mormon just for like a later. I don't know. Maybe that is all a joke. I don't know.
I guess we'll see.
I got an inside scoop too about how they function and operate. And also too, a high up Mormon leader I was very close with. He kind of took me to some sites, flew me out to Salt Lake City actually, tried to convert me to be a Mormon, good guy, and showed me some of the behind the scenes areas in Salt Lake City, which is like their religious capital there. And so, yeah, all that to be said is I don't just have a knowledgeable association of Mormons, but I have a very experientially high association of Mormons as well. What?
I'm sorry. I just get such a kick every time people, they want to draw up the like culty, like secretive thing. And they're like, oh yeah, like I had a high up member of the church that like showed me the secret parts of the secret city. It's like, dude,
it's like a Mormon priest.
It's like you went on a tour that every tourist gets to go on.
Yeah,
like,
you could go do that.
And
tomorrow.
they all, whenever they say a high ranking, it's always like he had the Melchizedek priesthood. Like every other Mormon.
You become a priest when you're 18.
Yeah, it's like, I don't know, man. So anyways, but again, he has a chance to prove it to us here. So then that was the introduction.
I love how much I'm learning about Mormonism.
Your faith, yeah.
I feel enlightened and strengthened as a Christian.
Okay, so this is the first one, kind of getting into the meat of this stuff. So this is the background of Mormonism. And he's going to say something about the Book of Mormon here.
Which they don't care about reading, right?
I'm just kidding.
Social media guy doesn't care about reading.
Yeah. Well, it's true. They don't care. Yeah, it's true. But this guy, as you saw, he's not only knowledgeable, but also has a lot of experience.
Mm-hmm.
Huge red flag. But 1823, 3 years later, Joseph Smith had another divine visitation, this time from the angel named Moroni. Now, who's Moroni?
Okay, dude. It's over. It's over, man.
And people, I was like, Cade did the same thing. When Bryce Crawford called the golden plates the golden tablets, Cade was like, dude, it's over. And people were like, well, you got to hear him out. And it's like, we're not saying like, oh my gosh, you said you said Moroni instead of Moroni. We're just saying, if you knew as much about this as you
If you were a member of the church, you would have picked up that it's pronounced Moroni.
Yeah. So we're not saying like, how dare he get this wrong? We're just saying it's easy to tell very quickly if someone knows what they're talking about or not. And I think this is honestly really similar to Bryce Crawford in the sense that this guy seems like a good guy. I don't think he realizes how poorly researched. Well, I'll let you. I don't want to spoil it.
Okay.
But watch this.
Who's Moroni? Very important figure here. Moroni sounds like an Italian dish, right? It sounds like you're ordering at an Italian restaurant.
When you say it like
some
that.
ravioli, some antipasta, and I'll take some Moroni. Yeah,
See, that's kind of funny.
Sauce? Let's do that. Moroni's not an Italian dish. Sounds like a tasty one. Moroni was an angel, and Moroni was, according to Joseph Smith, and the angel that supposedly talked to him, a descendant of the Jews and the diaspora, the 12 tribes of Israel, a descendant, who escaped to America 600 years before Jesus.
Moroni.
Just watch.
So this is hundreds of years before the birth of Christ. Who's Mormon? Mormon is the uncle of Moroni. So Moroni's father, Joseph Smith, right?
This just might pack me up, bruh. This just might pack me up.
We've heard people say Moroni wrong. Never in my life have I heard someone say that Mormon was the uncle of Moroni.
Mormon's the uncle of Moroni.
Oh my god.
This is gonna pack me up, dude. This is gonna pack me up.
Like, dude, you're charging people for a course on their book. This is the Book of Mormon. Where's one?
We don't have any.
On the Book of Mormon. And you don't even know who Mormon is. You don't even know the main. That's like being like, oh, I'm gonna sell you a course on Harry Potter. And then you're like, so here when I'm
gonna sell you a course on Harry Porter.
I'm sure you guys are familiar with Harry Porter. I know Harry Porter really well.
And his uncle, Snipe.
Me and JK.
I don't watch the movies.
Me and JK Rowling go way back. She actually showed me kind of where she wrote the book and everything, and where she wrote Harry Porter. And it's like, dude. And we're not trying to be rude, and we're making jokes. And I think we have a license to make jokes because he's talking about us. Like when he's talking about Mormons, he's talking about people like Cade and I. So I feel like we have a license to watch these videos, react to them, share our thoughts. I hope it doesn't come off as disrespectful, but it is funny. We can all just acknowledge this is funny.
It reminds me of Christopher Hitchens, who is one of the most prominent atheists of all time. He was extremely how do I say this? He was a great orator, great speaker, great author, and he just influenced millions of people. And he wrote a book on why God is not great and how religion poisons everything. And he has a little section in there about Mormonism. And he credits the great Dr. Fawn Brody, who never received a doctorate, with finding excellent information.
What, you have a bachelor's in English or something?
Yeah, and that's a trend with him. Is totally off topic, but that's a trend with him. The most random secular historian you've ever heard of is the great and venerable Dr. Fawn Brody, and then Thomas Aquinas, the greatest intellectual of the medieval age, is dumb old Tom, and you're like, come on, Chris. But he goes on and he talks about Nephi spelled wrong, Nephi, and Lephi, and how they settled the New World.
Yeah, well, maybe that's who this guy was reading. Because watch this.
Second visitation. And Moroni's uncle was Mormon. Mormon is the ancient Naphtali prophet who compiled.
Okay,
the ancient Naphtali prophet.
Dude, where does he get that?
I don't know. I actually was wondering,
am I missing something? He said that so confidently that I'm I must have missed something.
He's all in on it, dude. He's convincing, dude. And is that a Bible name? No.
Naphtali is the tribe of Israel.
Dude.
But they're all of the tribe of
Yeah, they're not of the Naphtali.
Of Israel.
tribe.
Yeah, like where did he get that he's a Naphtali?
Oh my gosh. I mean, it gives him a little bit of a break, I guess. But yeah, the name's Nephi. The guy's name's Nephi. The tribe's called the Nephites. That's pretty much like...
Is that what it is? Did he just confuse the Naphtali
he's saying
tribe with the
Naphtali
Nephites?
instead of Nephites.
Dude.
Mormon is
Watch,
the ancient
watch.
Naphtali prophet who compiled the Book of Mormon, which Joseph Smith will translate here very shortly. Okay? The Book of Mormon.
That is unbelievable.
Isn't that insane?
So was he just like, I mean, I hate accusing people of lying. I really do. But like, was he just lying about being a member for a spell?
I think that was just a joke. I'm just giving him the benefit of the doubt and say that was just a joke. It is weird though, because we got this really weird message from a guy that we know is associated with these guys. I'm not going to say who it is, but he said this really weird thing that like didn't make sense to me at first, and like now I'm kind of curious if I might be getting too conspiracy theory-ish here, but this is what he says. He says, you know, he made some videos that we felt were really poorly researched and really misrepresentative of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. And he said, what you don't know is that I have conversations with people who have been Mormon longer than you have been alive. I'm like, oh my gosh. But it's like, and maybe that's probably not about this guy, probably, but it's just like, these are the guys. When someone says something like that, it's like they're talking about someone like this who's just like, oh yeah, trust me. I know the Mormon side of things. I've been to Salt Lake. I got flown out by J.K. Rowling.
I met a priest. You're just a young old chap.
I actually knew a couple of their elders back in the day.
I've read the Book of Naphtali.
So, anyways, as you can imagine, it doesn't
Dude,
get
this
better
is
from there. We've got
arguably
6 episodes built on this level of research.
This is arguably the most inaccurate and honestly embarrassing thing we've ever reacted to on this channel. Like, not only is he just choosing, like, there's one thing if you choose to interpret like 2 Nephi 25:23 as works-based salvation. That's one thing.
Yeah.
But to not even know what's going on, like to not even like Naphtali, what, dude? Come on.
Yeah, and so I've got a couple other timestamps here that I think are worth looking at, but it's pretty tough. It's rough, man. So let's just pull this one up. This is from the same episode, the background of Mormonism.
Peter, James, and John. Here's a later picture of Joseph Smith, of what he actually looked like as a younger man there. The picture you
that's
see after
disputed.
that is him
No one
being
knows about
shot.
sexual pictures.
He was arrested for destroying his newspaper press. For a long story short, I can't really get into it. But he was
Wasn't his
arrested.
newspaper.
And he was jumping out of a window and got shot by this mob taking over this jail cell. Mormons believe he was martyred. I would say he was, I won't say justly killed. It could have been considered a murder, but that's how God took him out, in my opinion.
Dude. That is disgusting.
Yeah.
That is disgusting.
Yeah. Granted, this was published before the Charlie Kirk assassination. I think if nothing else, it's a good illustration of just, if you think it's justifiable to murder the people you hate, then you have no right to tell anyone else that it's not justifiable to murder the people they hate.
That is astonishing to me.
Yeah.
That you can, like, dude, if, like, us two here, him, we are not 1/100th of the man that Joseph was. We have not gone through 1/100th of the things that he had to go through. We did not build an entire house in Nauvoo and give up all of our food and shelter to anyone who was coming by, member or not. And we didn't just sell everything we have and just go all in on this building up of Zion that included everyone. And we'd like, and to say that like, that's how God took him out when a mob of angry American Protestants
circumvented the laws of this country
and
to kill a man.
and killed a man and his brother.
and leave their wives widows and their children orphans, or what's the word for that? Leave their children fatherless.
That is like, I don't know. He's probably not going to see this, but I really, if he does, like, just reconsider what you're talking about here. Like, strongly reconsider. John Taylor and Willard Richards, who were there in the jail and survived, loaded the bodies of these two men onto a wagon, and they had to bury them in caskets under their house because there was still a reward out for Joseph Smith's head. Dead or alive, they wanted his head. They had to bury it in the basement of the house and do a parade with fake caskets because people wanted to kill this guy so bad. Because American angry Protestants wanted to kill this guy so bad. So, like, what do you mean that's God's way of taking him out and it was justified? That is... I'm going to stop talking before I get really upset. That is like our prophet. That is the guy whose religion we follow and whose scriptures we read, and who was, by all standards, an incredible person. Extremely controversial. You're allowed to say that, but an incredible person. People who knew him best said amazing things about him.
Yeah.
And he was killed in cold blood. And if you, like, I can't believe that this guy has read, like, the history of Lucy Mack Smith and has read about her walking into the room where Joseph and Hiram's bodies were and describing what that felt like to see that her two sons had been murdered for doing nothing other than what they thought God wanted them to do. Like, I cannot believe he would read something like that and then go say this.
And imagine the disgust. Imagine his reaction if someone said, like, the martyrdom of Peter or of the apostles, if that was justified.
Yeah,
God's way of
insane.
taking them out. And it's one thing if you hear Cade, I completely agree that we are not 1/100th of the man that Joseph was. And the reason I think that now, a younger me might not have said that same thing. A younger me might have had a more complex view of Joseph. The thing that's made me realize that is because I've researched it, and I've researched him. And it's one thing if you've read, Rough Stone Rolling, if you've read these, like, I'm not saying you need to be like the biggest scholar ever, but like read a book about him. If you're hearing this and you're like, I can't believe these guys are saying this about Joseph Smith, just ask yourself, have you actually done any research, like good scholarly research, or are you just, if you're going off what you see on Instagram and TikTok comments, sure, that might sound crazy. No matter what you think about him, even if you think he was guilty of the crimes that he was in that jail for, and you think that his punishment should have been death, you're not an American if you don't believe in our justice system. So yeah, it's a tough look, obviously.
And this, I mean, you mentioned it, this was filmed before the Charlie Kirk murder.
Yeah.
But I really hope that when that horrible tragedy happened, that, like, I just pray that he may have thought, like, okay, I have said some things similar to this horrible, terrible rhetoric online justifying the murder of a husband and father at UVU campus. I've said things similar to that. And I just pray that he's able to see the comparison there.
Yeah. Yeah. So anyways, like we said at the beginning of this, we reached out to these guys. We said, hey, we think there's some really questionable stuff going on here with your guys' scholarship. They doubled down on it. They said they didn't care. That's what led us here. We're not here to talk smack, right? I mean, I presume we're operating under the assumption that they watch this video and they say, yeah, we stand by those videos. And that we're not here to make enemies or to make people pull people's words out of context, or our first resort in these situations is to reach out to the people and say, hey man, I'm one of the people you're talking about. Are you sure this is what you want to be saying? Once we got confirmation of that, that's when we feel comfortable just talking about it and having a public dialogue. So yeah, I mean, I'm sure, I hope, and I feel that their other courses are probably better. I don't want this to be like...
Probably because they've read the book.
Yeah. Yeah, well, most of the, I mean, they do have this whole thing that's like cultomania about whatever, the different cults, I guess. So anyways, I'm sure I don't really have a lot of, I don't know. Point is, I'm not trying to make these guys look bad. I think it's a bad look, but I think if people don't feel compelled to have a more charitable and just an academically honest approach to these issues, then the next thing we can do that's in our power is to say, okay, well then let's talk about it publicly and let's see if people agree with us or not. Because anyway, so yeah, it got a little dark there. And I said this earlier, I think this guy is similar to other guys that we've seen before. He's pulling up images, he's pulling up quotes, and I don't think he's lying. Like, I don't think he realizes how wrong he is. I don't think he's like I think he does think that these things he's saying, I mean, he talks about everything. He talks about the Book of Abraham, he talks about Mountain Meadows Massacre, he talks about whatever, all the classic evangelical talking points. He really only gives one source of substance, and it's at the end. He plugs this book called Mormonism 101, and
is it by Ed Decker?
Yeah.
No. Dude, come on, that's the only source?
That's what he says. He's like, let me make sure I'm on this. Is it Ed Decker? It's maybe it's not, actually. Sorry. Mormonism 101 by Bill McKeever and Eric Johnson. Oh,
I've heard of this one.
So
that's not even well known amongst the anti-books.
Yeah, so he brings this up. It's published in the year 2000, which I just think that alone, I get it. Like you try to trust. I mean, this is the problem that's happened for centuries now in the evangelical anti-Mormon sphere. It's just this echo chamber of like people just don't challenge each other on these things, and they think that Mormons are demonic. So
we've just moved on. We have 200 years of scholarship now. We're publishing in reputable scholarly journals. We're discovering chiastic structures in the Book of Mormon, and they're still talking about Galatians 1:8. Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. So they're like, I feel bad. It's hard. I can put myself in their shoes and say, okay, if I was in TheosU or whatever, it's like, who in that community is going to be like, hey, I've actually had meaningful conversations with Mormons and I don't think they're demonic. So when they told me X or Y, I looked into it and I actually read the stuff they sent me, and guys, there's more to this than we might realize. And who in these circles is going to do that, right? But this book specifically, Introduction to Mormonism 101, published in the year 2000. Obviously, there's been lots of historical developments on things like the Book of Abraham or Mountain Meadows Massacre. Tons of scholarship that's come out since the year 2000. So I don't know how he feels comfortable talking about any of these historical subjects specifically, but there's been a very comprehensive response to the book Mormonism 101, and the introduction of it was written by David Waltz, and David Waltz was a Catholic apologist. So even if you think Cade and I are demons and you can't trust the word we say, take it from Catholic David Waltz. He writes the introduction to this response. He says, it was my hope that this book would build upon the recent evangelical Mormon dialogue of Bloomberg and Robinson and the excellent reviews of their work in the Farm's Review of Books. The title had an academic ring to it, and I waited with anticipation that the book would live up to my initial expectation. My wait was extended into early July when the book was finally delivered to my doorstep. Was it worth the wait? Did the book live up to my expectations? I was less than 15 minutes into the book when any hope of an objective academic look at Mormonism had all but disappeared. Alas, the book now in my hands was nothing more than another ill-conceived, subjective, polemical, anti-Mormon publication. So
that's rough.
And then
dude.
He goes through
not a good look.
He goes through a bunch of reasons why. It's a really lengthy introduction where he addresses a lot of the different claims within the book. So then he finishes with this. So what does this all mean? Attempts by evangelicals such as McKeever and Johnson to exclude Mormonism as Christian via the principles of, quote, private judgment and sola scriptura are simply naive and misinformed appeals to the early church fathers, make the matter even worse for history. Make the matter even worse. History teaches us at the very least that apart from the great ecumenical councils and an accompanying Catholic principle of infallibility, there can be no consensus on what truly constitutes, quote, historic or orthodox Christian doctrine. If one truly adheres to the Protestant principles of private judgment and sola scriptura, one cannot, in all honesty, exclude Mormonism as Christian. Further, it makes perfect sense to me any Christian who is not a member of the Roman Catholic Church or one of the Eastern Orthodox churches must seriously examine the claims of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. For if there truly was a great apostasy, the worldview of the LDS Church seems much more consistent than the traditional Protestant view. There's so much more that could be said. For instance, the fact that Mormonism on the doctrine of faith and works is much closer to the early church fathers than evangelicalism. The same can be said concerning the nature of the visible church. The interesting parallels between some Mormon doctrines and much of the intertestament literature, Blake Ostler and David Paulson's recent work on social Trinitarianism, and the recent scholarly discussions on creation ex nihilo. But I have far exceeded my task of an introduction and shall leave the rest of the review to our Mormon writers.
You have far exceeded the task, brother.
Yeah, dude, Catholics, dude, this is like just a couple times. I mean, this was written years ago, but Catholics are the only ones Christian enough to, seems like they've recently been the only ones Christian enough to have a honest approach to Mormonism.
I trust almost everything. I can at least trust that it's honest and fair if it's coming from a Jesuit university or a Jesuit scholar, which are Catholic schools or people associated with Catholic schools.
Yeah.
So, like, this is no shock to me. That's what they do. They are just, that tradition is like relentlessly obsessed with being fair and objective and correct. And everyone should go read Jesuit literature. They're amazing people, amazing scholars.
So, yeah, I mean, this whole course is based on this one book, and the book doesn't even, I mean, me and you had never heard of it, really. I mean, you said you'd heard it. I'd never heard of it, and even you have other Christian apologists saying, hey, this book sucks. So, just seems like a lot to, I mean, he makes a lot of claims, and to really just base, I mean, he throws out a couple quotes from apostles and that sort of thing, and that's kind of the really paradoxical thing about this. Like, he throws out these quotes and these pictures and graphics and stuff, but he also simultaneously shows such a shallow understanding.
No, it's not shallow. Like like we've seen in many places that there's no water there. Like it's not even a shallow picture. It is like an empty pool or like the wrong pool, the Naphtali pool.
Naphtali pool that is really similar to the Jehovah's Witnesses. Yeah, it's tough. It's a tough look. So my only theory there is like maybe someone else prepared a lot of these notes and stuff, and that's why you have him reading these names wrong.
That would actually make sense. That would be, yeah.
He's got like he's got the updated profile pic of Joseph Smith, but he doesn't even know how to say Moroni or Nephite. And so that's my theory. That gives me the most room to give him some grace and say, this guy just doesn't know how poorly he's representing us and himself. But
dang, man. So
yeah, needless to say, canceled the free trial. I only have a week and then I would get kicked out of here. But this video, though, if you guys want to see, it is on YouTube. A lot of what we showed, not all of it, but the introduction videos on YouTube. So yeah, and the thing is too, if someone from Theos University is watching this, like members of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints are really likely to want to buy your product.
Oh yeah, no, we buy more books and study helps and just literature than like anyone. Like we are extremely likely to purchase your product and really get into it.
And Pew Research found that the Church of Jesus Christ Latter-day Saints, its adherents are the most biblically literate group in America. So more biblically literate than evangelicals or Catholics. And I know you guys don't want to hear that. It's not my thing. That's Pew Research. That's their study. But it would follow that they would want higher level Bible classes.
And I mean, just like you said, if anyone from Theos University is watching this, like, we don't want to be like having this conversation in front of a couple cameras right now. Like,
Yeah.
we would much rather talk with you guys. Like, if you guys are like, hey, take that video down, that's not cool, like, just reach out to us. Like, we don't want to just like argue with you guys, and we don't want to just like go out and say, look at how stupid this course is, this is so dumb. Like, we would be genuinely stoked if more people were signing up and learning about Christianity. Like, that's a huge dub for us if the secularization of the United States reverses. So,
Yes.
But like, I know you don't care about your credibility with members of the church, but members of our church care about your credibility.
Yeah, it's true. We want Christianity to be as credible as possible. We don't want, these guys that are spreading, all these instructors on here that are spreading reasons to believe in Jesus Christ. We want the organizations that they're associated with to be as credible as possible, to be as academically rigorous as possible. We want non-believers to turn to Christ. And we're all on the same team, even if you guys don't acknowledge that. That's where our heart's at. And I think that's the thing. Our dream is that we can shut this channel down if people just stop talking about us.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like we don't want to do this. Like, we don't start these conversations. Like, we aren't out there making like, well, here's why the Catholics are wrong and here's why the Protestants are wrong. Like, no, we're not doing that. We're just existing. And you guys,
I did make a video about why hell is wrong.
You did make a video about why hell is wrong. That's true. But
it is wrong.
Well, and
it's okay if you believe it. It's fine. I'm not going to like make fun of you. You're not going to go to hell for believing in hell, because hell doesn't exist.
I don't think most people would, like, even that in itself, that's an effort to turn atheists into believers. You're saying, if you're
absolutely.
an atheist and this is your hang-up spot, I don't think this certain conception of hell is salvific.
Yeah.
So it's not an attack on Christianity. It's an invitation to non-believers to say, hey, if this is your hang-up, guess what?
Absolutely.
It doesn't have to be.
Yeah.
So appreciate you guys for watching. Feel free to watch our other videos. And we'll keep you guys updated on, I don't know what I was going to say. Thank you for watching, guys. We appreciate you. Anyone who makes it to the end of a video, that just means a lot. And I'm
a Christian now. I took the Christian course, baby.
Yeah, we took the course. We finally understand. There's a couple of other funny quotes from this I could pull up, but we're probably out of time. So appreciate you guys, and stay tuned for our next video.